So Zeta is a banking tech company. Our customers are banks and fintechs. And what we've done is we've rewritten the entire credit processing stack from scratch. If you think about all of the credit processors out there, all the banks are using legacy tech that was written like decades ago, before the cloud, before smartphones even existed. And banks typically have to deal with 15 to 20 different vendors, origination, credit processing, mobile apps, loan management, etc., to put together a credit card program. And you can't really give your customers the experience that they deserve with these 10 plus legacy vendors. It's almost like, the analogy that I give is you can't take the parts of a Toyota and build a Tesla, and your customers are demanding a Tesla. And so back in 2015, we felt like the only way to provide modern experience, to provide a cloud native kind of scalable platform, is to rewrite the whole stack from scratch. So we've got a full stack platform comprising of credit processing, credit core, loan management, fraud and risk, rewards, credit decisioning. You can optionally choose to bring some of those pieces of your own, but a modern stack that's fully cloud native, has 100% API coverage, has a white labeled reference implementation mobile app that you can use out of the box or build your own, fully elastic, cloud agnostic, and built on microservices architecture and fully modern tech. Our fundamental benefits are that as a bank, if you implement us, we can provide a much more modern experience for your customers. We can improve your cost to income ratio substantially, and we can increase NPS and improve speed and agility for banks to launch new features and functionality and capabilities. Typical bank can launch new products and new programs in the order of days or weeks, and new feature in the order of hours or days on our platform, as compared to what would conventionally take 6 to 12 months or 18 months on any other legacy platform. So that's basically what we have, a fully integrated credit processing stack for banks to be able to launch retail or commercial credit cards, charge cards, buy now, pay later loans, secured credit cards, etc. Absolutely. So we have two offerings. Zeta TACHYON Credit is our credit processing platform as a SaaS platform for banks to launch next-gen credit cards. Zeta Fusion Credit is our platform for fintechs, where we provide both the platform and an underlying sponsor bank that can actually underwrite your loans and hold them on their balance sheet for whatever duration you want to. So if you're a fintech in the, retail or commercial lending space, or you don't want to provide credit cards or loans to your customers, but do not have a bank charter, with Fusion, we can give you both a bank charter and the processing platform on which you can run those products and services. Whereas TACHYON, basically, as a bank, if you want to run a credit card program, we have, as I said, it's a full stack platform. We're connected to Visa and MasterCard with our own VAP and our own MIP. We basically do everything from origination, processing, that's the full transaction lifecycle, to fraud and risk, to collections, compliance, etc., on our platform, on a modern platform. So that's what Zeta TACHYON Credit offers, which is a full stack credit processing platform for banks. And Fusion Credit is a credit processing platform and a sponsor bank, a charter bank for fintechs. Absolutely. Zeta was co-founded by myself and Ramki in 2015. We started out with the fundamental belief that the banking and payments industry needs to be disrupted. And our perspective was, should we become a bank ourselves, or should we? I'm a techie at heart. Our core competence is technology, so should we sort of focus on that? And really figured out the biggest pain point that exists out there is legacy tech. Every other industry, consumer or commercial, has gone through a full revamp when it comes to software and infrastructure and platforms in the last 10 to 15 years, but banks still run on technology that was written 20, 30 years ago. And so we started out by building out an architecture for revamping the entire banking stack. Our focus here right now is credit cards, but per se, Zeta actually has a deposit score, credit processing, debit processing, prepaid processing, and the whole 9 yards. We are live in 6 countries with about 9 different issuers, 30 plus fintechs, and we recently launched now in North America. The company was originally capitalized by myself and my co-founder, so we capitalized it with about 40 million when we started out. And recently, 3 months ago, we raised our first external round. So SoftBank invested $250 million at a $1.5 billion valuation in our company. We currently have 10 million cards issued on our platform. We have 60 million more contracted. on our platform, and we just landed in North America 6 months ago. We have 2 banks and 2 fintechs that have signed up with us that we're in the process of making live. So currently the only one that is public is a company called Aura, A-U-R-A. Aura is a digital identity protection company. They have a couple of million customers, and they're looking at launching a secure credit card offering for their customers. Basically the world's most secure card with sort of various protections, etc., built in, and privacy stuff built in, etc. So that's their kind of take on it. They're launching it on top of the Fusion platform. The other 3 contracts will be public over the course of the next few months, like 2 to 3 months. And we're still at the stage of kind of formalizing the arrangements. Sure. I've been a serial entrepreneur all my life. This is all I've done. I found my passion early on. I started coding when I was 10 years old. Started my first company when I was 17 in the hosting and domain name space called DirectEye. Ran that along with my younger brother, co-founded that and ran that for about 14, 15 years, and then sold that. Since then, I have started 3 different companies. A company called Radix. Radix is a domain registry provider. So we own .online, .tech, .store, .space, .website, and a few other sort of what I call top-level extensions. So anybody who registers a domain name with them is actually registering with our registry. That's roughly a $500 million enterprise that I have a CEO and a team that kind of runs that show. The second company, the other company I started was in 2014. I started a company called Nova, and Nova competes with Google Outlook, like Gmail, Outlook, and Slack and Microsoft Teams. So it's collaboration software for SMBs. And WordPress recently invested actually their largest ever external investment, $30 million at a $300 million valuation, just about few months ago in Nova. And then Zeta is my latest company. This is the one that I'm spending most of my time on. Co-founded that with Ramki in 2015. And the goal and objective is to become the de facto banking technology provider for banks and fintechs. There were a few. So, obviously our perspective was that we wanted to disrupt banking and provide an outstanding experience to end consumers. What we realized is there are a couple of, hurdles when it comes to doing that as a financial institution or bank. Firstly, banks are heavily regulated. We want to try and stay away from sort of heavy regulation. You have to get a license in every single country if you want to expand geographically. With the technology service provider, as a technology service provider, I can operate in every single market without any significant impediments in terms of licensing, etc. Banks have a limited return on equity, so you have to keep pumping up the equity to increase your loan book. And our perspective was, that we want to sort of have an uncapped return on equity. And we also felt that we can make the maximum difference if we actually enable. There's obviously, thousands of legacy players out there, hundreds of banks that need the right kind of technology partner. And our perspective was that if we enable them, we'll make a far larger impact over time as opposed to kind of, chugging away at it ourselves with consumers. So those were the fundamental drivers, the philosophy of path that we chose.